Hey guys, Nick here and welcome back to another Supergirl episode review. My thoughts on last night's episode of Supergirl titled Alex. And I apologize for this video being as late as it is. Just so you guys know, my videos might be coming later in these next few weeks as I just started my new job and I was, just to get a little personal, I was kind of jobless for a too short amount of time. So I'm just starting my new job, so I'm going to be working nights. So I mean, it shouldn't be off too late. There's some nights I should be able to catch the episodes live or a little later, but I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time that because of my new job, I might be missing some reviews the night of, so they should be expecting them at least the next day, if not a little later. But overall, I just wanted to let you guys know what the situation was. And so if you guys see that, I am uploading late, that's why. But to get my thoughts on this episode, this was a pretty good episode. I mean, it didn't forward the plot or anything. It was more of just a standalone episode. I mean, and its villain was okay, I guess. I think I enjoyed last week's episode more just because I liked Lena being more of the focus, and the actor from iZombie, I thought was a better character to have as your villain per se. He turns out he wasn't necessarily the villain, but this week, I mean, the whole focus was obviously more on Alex and Maggie and Kara's dynamic throughout the episode, and them trying to get Alex and find her, and the means they're going to take to find her, and what that's going to do to them and their relationship, as well as just seeing the two different ideologies of Maggie and Kara and how they kind of bash together like that throughout the episode many times. The villain himself, I just the one problem I did have with them, or the biggest problem I had with him, was just that I feel like I didn't really get his motivation. So he's been planning this thing out for a year just to break his dad out, where I feel like he could have just put all that planning into breaking his dad out. I don't know. But again, the villain aside, because with these CW shows, when they're doing villain of the week, I never have the highest of expectations, except when they're bringing in a good actor. And this week was I'd never seen the actor before. He was fine, I guess, but the character did nothing for me. In this episode itself, again, it wasn't bad. It's just wasn't action packed or really a story driven episode. It was character driven, and that's not a bad thing. And I like Maggie as a character, and I've liked her and Alex's relationship, and I'm glad it's cool to kind of see their relationship tested with Alex being kidnapped. And I gotta say, Kylie Lee did a great job in this episode when they showed just Alex being doing her best to get out of her current situation, and seeing the length she'll go to while she's stuck in that tube to she hacked the camera thing so that she can get out a signal of where her location was. And, she was able to use her shirt as a life vest towards the end. It goes to show just how well written I think her character is, that she's smart in those situations. And I like that about Alex. Because I feel in some shows they'll kind of forget that, she's an agent, she's trained to survive in these certain situations. But, again, I think the way they've handled Kyler in this episode I thought was great. Other than that, I mean, again, there wasn't much to this episode other than what I brought up. So this review might actually end up being pretty short compared to my other Supergirl reviews, because the story was pretty straightforward. The only other thing I can really talk about is the side plot of Lena and Rhea kind of coming together to do the alien portal thing. And in the end, you find out that Lena does ultimately team up with Rhea. And I guess they both, Rhea used the fact that people stereotype Lena because she's a Luthor. She kind of used that as means to get her on her own side. I'm talking about Rhea, of course. So, obviously, we know Rhea has, bad intentions. And so I'm wondering, at this point, if Rhea is going to end up being one of the big bad to face at this point in the season. Because I feel for a while they were teasing Cadmus as, the big bad of the season. And it looks like that's not even the case, because we haven't even seen or really heard anything from Cadmus in a really long time. Granted, there was a whole jail thing and Cyborg Superman and all that stuff, but it seems like that's wrapped up for the time being, unless they decided to bring it up in the last couple of episodes. And as far as we know, it's going to be Rhea, and then General Zod's going to be coming in at some point. from what we've seen in the set photos for the finale. We know with Tyler Hoechlin coming back. Yay. Sorry. But I just feel like the show, I feel like if they're gonna, I guess this was one advantage this show has over the other CW, or at least with Arrow and The Flash, is that like it's not necessarily focusing on a main villain the entire season. That's, you can say that's a good or bad thing. For me, I wish like if they did have a villain, that they were gonna tease it throughout the entire season and not be like, oh, here's the villain for now, and then we're gonna add another villain later, because I feel like they just did that last season. Like they teased us with Kara's aunt, and I thought she was a great villain, and then they kill her off for some generic white dude, and then they bring in Laura Vandervoort's character. I can't even remember her name off the top of my head, the one who looks like Mystique. And Laura Vandervoort was fine as the villain. I just wish that, again, I hate when they tease us with one villain, and then I guess for shock value or for story reasons they want to kill her off or whatever, get rid of the other characters. But it's like, give us at least one consistent villain, you know? Not saying that Terry Hatcher's a bad villain or anything, I just like want consistency in the show, because I feel like they lose focus and then they're like, oh, this was our plan all along, here's this villain and this villainous plot that was always kind of there. At least that's how I felt with Myriad last year. That's where I feel like just Non was not a good villain to me. I feel like I didn't really care about him. Or felt like Astra was a good villain, you know. And this season, again, like Rhea isn't bad. We haven't really seen enough of her. Again, I just wish they would have. And granted, you can say, oh, they teased this since Mon-El came into the show, but I just feel like they could have done a better job of like letting us know, oh, that she might end up being the big bad and not Cadmus, you know. So that's just a little gripe that I had. And again, and then in this episode, just Mon-El did nothing for me. And again, another episode, James is nowhere to be found. And I understand that, like, story-wise, what did he need to be there? Not necessarily, but it's just like, why have this character if you're barely going to do anything with him? I mean, yeah, you have him as Guardian last week, but it's like, he's hardly ever there with Kara anymore. And I don't know why, because they're supposed to be like they're supposed to be like best friends, and ever since Mon-El came into the picture, he's been sidelined. And I've gone on in the past about why that bothers me. And so I'm not going to waste my time going on that again, because it's just been the same problem for week after week after week. But I just want them to give James a shot at being like an actual interesting character. Not saying that he's not interesting, but just I want them to write him into the story more, not just have him like, oh, he's not here this week for blah blah blah, or at least give us an explanation. I don't know. I just want to see more of James, and not just like him just being here one episode, gone the next, here one episode, gone the next, and because I feel like he's barely been around this season. It's just really frustrating for me. But overall, again, I thought this was a fine episode. Not the best episode, not the most action-packed or story-driven. It was, again, it was a character focus on Alex, Kara, and Maggie. And there's a lot of cool moments in there, like when they apprehended the guy at the end of the episode, and Alex punched him, and then John was gonna mind wipe him. That was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm excited for the rest of the season. Not necessarily to see Tyler Hoechlin again, to be honest, or there's new version of General Zod. But I'm excited for what the season has to offer story-wise, so I'm really looking forward to it. So with that being said, that's going to be it for me. So what did you guys think of this episode? Sign your thoughts in the usual place in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for all the other content I put up on my channel. Today is Tuesday, so later tonight I should be doing a review of the latest episode of The Flash. You guys can check that out tonight, as well as tomorrow night it's going to be Arrow. You guys can check that review out when that drops after the episode, as well as all the other videos we'll be putting up in the meantime in the next few weeks. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, have a good one.